As much as I appreciate and respect Jacques Fresco's, his achievements, his unconventional education, and his success, and all that. One serious beef that I have with a lot of his purported tenets of the Zeitgeist movement, or excuse me, the Venus Project, excuse me. Just a little mental artifact there. Anyway, one of the beefs I have with Jacques Fresco overall is his lack of education. Let me see if I can't clarify that. Okay, so he lived through the Depression. So what? And he was able to rise above. There was plenty of opportunity after the Depression. He found it. He got lucky, and that's where some of my beef stems from, is because he really hasn't experienced a lot of the turmoil firsthand, a lot of the pain and suffering and misery, because he's been able to kind of lift himself out of it just by, just a lot of it is just sheer luck, And so all he has is a very artificially intelligent and cursory or superficial understanding of, like I said, all the turmoil, the pain, the suffering, the misery, and so forth, because he hasn't really experienced it. I mean, he's just basically, looking at all the world's problems and so forth through a microscope. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's hardly puts anybody in a position to actually be educated or enlightened enough to actually feel, like I said, it's just a very cursory understanding, and does anybody not understand what I'm coming from? I mean, because all us other people who haven't been as fortunate as he has been, we're living in the shit. We're living in the gutter. We're living with the pain, suffering, and misery on a daily basis. And this same sentiment that I have regarding Jacques Fresco applies to millions of other people who basically they're basically enshrouded in all the different amendments and safety nets and bubbles and groups of this and that, basically shielding themselves from the outside world, basically shielding themselves, just like Jacques Fresco, shielding yourself from the hardcore experience, shielding yourself from the misery, the pain, the turmoil, and you hide behind your institutions, you hide behind your conventional whatever, your schooling, your laws, your philosophies, your religions. You drift into these little groups, these little artificial and virtual constructs for comfort and for mental masturbation and all this other jazz that comes along with everything we humans have accumulated, since we started making simple tools. And over the years, our so-called progress of civilization has just been a constantly evolving and malignant cancer, shielding us from the elements of life. And, so, and this whole thing with the Venus Project, okay, so he's trying to educate people as to an alternate viewpoint, an alternate way of doing things, and I got no problem with that. But it seems like, there's a big problem there, because none of it is based on hardcore, hands-on experience with all the crap. The victimization of people as more and more of this cancer of modern civilization is encroached upon us and encroached upon the wilderness and other life forms. See, that's kind of another little problem that I have with Jacques Fresco and many others. There's a certain air of human supremacy, that we are the premier life force on this planet, and we have all the intelligence and the ability to manipulate our environment and all this other crap. And there's hardly any discussion from his campaign and his supporters, about all the different animal exploitation that we do and the abuse. Like I said, everything everything is all human. It's human-centric or human supremacy. And that's just, that's a big problem, and nobody wants to look into stuff like that, because they don't want to. It's too painful, or it's too time consuming, because we're so most people are so busy at their fucking jobs, and their time is so consumed, or so consumed by all the activities that we carry on with, our school, our friends, all of our hobbies, our religions, our you know what I mean? So I guess that's about near as I can put it, in a nutshell, without rambling on, but because everything's all mixed up. There is so much information out there that we humans need to assimilate, and absorb and toss around in our heads and all this other stuff. And, you know, that's, you know, it's just the way we've evolved within our own little modern or pre-modern, postmodern, whatever you call it, civilizations and societies and so forth. But anyway, okay. That pretty much wraps up what I wanted to say about Jacques Fresco. And some of that can also be transcended into a lot of these other organizations, such as the Zeitgeist movement, that were basically their origins or a lot of their own movements and so forth were sparked by Jacques Fresco. Okay? Okay. Okay. Bye.